Okay, YouTubers, this is my surf bait casting rig. This is meant for two types of fishing, heavy duty and medium. So let me explain the heavy duty part. The first part is this diagram here. Okay, you got your rod here, got your line going into the water. Up here is what it looks like in the water. So if you're going heavy duty for Ulua, which is GTs, what we have is your main line coming down to a heavy duty swivel. Heavy duty swivel is something like the 2-aught. See, it says 2/02, so that's a 2-aught crane swivel. I consider this a heavy duty swivel. From there, I use roughly 6 feet of rub line. This can be wire, it can be fluoro or mono. Reason for the rub line is if you're going for GTs, these fish can get up to 6 feet, and they have scoots on the back of their fins, which are very, very sharp. In fact, when they attack you, they sometimes turn on their side and charge to try to cut you. Being a commercial diver, I've had that happen to me many times. So when the fish is running alongside this line, that line is chafing up against the scoot. So what you want to do is you want to run a very, very heavy type of line here, or you can go with the wire. Okay, then you come down to your, what I use is a 3-way swivel. Now when you use a 3-way swivel, do not use this cheapy kind of stuff here, because they have metal rivets. I've had baby hammerheads break a metal rivet. These are the worst things you can use. What I use is this type of 3-way swivel. This is pretty good. This is a 6-aught or a 4-aught. This is rated for 560 pounds. Or you can go a little bit smaller. This one works pretty good too. This is a 2-aught, that size here, combined with a 3-aught. This one's rated for 360 pounds. This is pretty good. I use this more than the other one. So what you can do is your rub line connects to your 3-way swivel, all right? From your 3-way swivel, you have your lead line, with your lead at the bottom. And I prefer lead with wired grabbers on the bottom. You can spread the grabs out. Sometimes you don't need that, but in areas where there's surge and current, I recommend using the wire. Okay, the lead line over here has to be weaker strength, and the reason being is because if it gets caught, you want to pull and break the line. But like, say if your main line is 80 pounds, you're going 80 pounds here, chances are you're not going to break that line very well. So if you're going like 80-pound main, I would go maybe 40-pound lead line. You always go with a weaker strength. I usually run 1.5 to 2.5, depends on the bottom. If it's the topography is sand or if it's reef, that's up to you. Okay, so my leader here is very short. I'm only running maybe 6 to 8 inch, and it can be heavy mono, it can be fluoro, it can be cable, and you can use the hook of your choice. All right, now that's my first system. This is how I'll go for heavy duty. So let me show you what I'm going to do on my second choice. Okay, YouTubers, my second choice is basically do not use the rub line. The rub line is only used when we're going for GTs because of the scoots on the side. Okay, so, and that's for the really big fish we use this for, and most places don't have big fish like that. So I would say 95% of the time I would go with a general setup. The general setup is take away this part here, the rub line, and take away the heavy duty swivel. I would go directly from the main line to here. Okay, main line to the smaller 3-way swivel, which is this style. I prefer this style because, like I said, if you use this part here, these have metal rivets, and I can't believe that a baby hammerhead can pop those things off. So please, like I said, use this style over here. All right, so when you go with the more all-purpose system, everything else is fine. Just get rid of the heavy duty swivel here. Main line goes direct to the 3-way swivel here, Everything else plays exactly the same. Now what we're going to do that's a little bit different today is we're adding on another leader on the top. And the reason why we do that is because the place we're going to is infested with a lot of crabs. Crabs, even if you use bait bags, you tie it on, the baits onto the hooks, the crabs would tear the baits apart, all right? You're going to lose a lot of bait that way. You spend a lot of money because you got to keep replacing the bait all the time. So what I found is that I'm still going to go with the hook that's connected to the rig itself, okay? I'm going to put my bait over here. But what I'm also going to do is this, I'm going to add on a second rig. And to do that, you know, I use a dropper loop. In my videos, I'm going to quickly show how to make a dropper loop. So you can run that through the eyelet of the swivel right here. And this can be 6 to 8 inches of line, your choice of line, or preferably longer, like maybe 10 or 12 inches. So your line will go up here to a cork. The cork I'm using can be 3/4 inch, 1 inch, depends on the weight of the bait you're using. A bigger bait, maybe go a 1 inch round, or if you're using a smaller bait, maybe a 3/4 inch round. But I found that 3/4 inch all the way around works pretty good for a piece of squid, shrimp. And the reason why you do this is because you want to, this rig here would be floating. The cork will suspend this, so it's going to be above the bottom. The crabs will not be able to reach this. Now certain species are swimming crabs and they may swim up to it, but most crabs won't do that because they expose themselves to predators around, and mostly they will not do that. I guess if they're really hungry they could, but the reason why I make it like this is because if you go with this system here on an average day, like say the Chocolate Beach, which is full of crabs there, you got to keep changing the baits. With this system here, maybe you change, instead of changing the bait every 40 minutes, now you change the bait for every 2 hours, because the tiny little fish or the microorganisms in the water will generally work its way and eat up that bait, but it'll take a little bit longer. So with this system here, I'm going to be highlighting this in the video. You can throw out your normal line with your bait here, with the secondary bait here that could be maybe 2 feet above the reef, 1.5 to 2 feet above the reef. So when this one is finally eaten, you still got this one working for you. So I prefer this system. I mean, you could have a tandem setup here, but what's the sense of having 2 baits on the bottom if the crabs or other predators are going to eat that bait? You have a secondary bait up here that's going to be working for you once this one is gone. So I'm going to be showing you how to make this, and if we catch something, great. If not, it's okay, because I just want to show you how to make this. Thank you. The first thing I do in the morning is I make sure that if the knots look bad or a little worn, which it does happen, I make sure I start off with nice clean knots. So this is my 2/0, 3/0 three-way swivel. You always start on this end right here. So what I do is I just put a simple Palomar, but I modified, instead of 1 loop, I'll loop it twice. Okay, like so. And you know, I've never had anything break the knot, not a single fish. And I mean, we're talking about all my years as commercial, trolling, bottom fishing, and I've never had anything break a Palomar. And this is a double Palomar. Look how easy that was. Very simple to tie, even with 50-pound braid. That was it. Okay, so get my kitchen shears, cut that, and I have a rubbish bag. I save all my garbage. Okay, my roll crown bag has all my weights that I'm going to need for today. So I'm going to use a 4-ounce. I'm going to use some Mason's mill end 25-pound test mono, because the main line is going to be 50 braid. I usually try to go half of that, or just slightly higher half. I'm going to just do a simple dropper loop knot. So what you do is just make double the line,
make a, okay, from double the line you go like, make a single loop through like so, and then you go one more time doubling it up. This is known as a dropper loop knot or surgeon's knot. I use this on almost everything. I like this knot. Then from that loop you can put hooks on if you want, but I don't. I use it for looping my lead tube like so. This way it's better than tying it on, because this way you can change your lead to 3 to 4 to 5, whatever else you want. There you go, all ready to go, and I'm just going to do the same thing to the other end. Okay, on my ballistic, I got my 3-way swivel, 3-aught with a 2-aught. I like this style. I don't like the rivet type because rivets can pop out. So now that I got my lead line here, what I'm going to do is put this through. See how it goes here? This is, we're going to have my leader line, my baited line. So we're going to put the lead line here. And I like this type of style of knots, the dropper knots, because you can just do this. Look at that. Isn't that great? And you can take them off, change your leads on it instead of tying them on. And then this is the best way to do it that I found for me here in Hawaii. I'm sure this will work anywhere. Okay, I got a bag of pre-made leaders here with some extra mono. I got barbless setups and barbed setups. Today I'm going with a barbed because there's no seals that I know of around this area, so I'm going with a barb. And I write on it, so this is a BKN 18, which is a really damn good circle hook. Okay, notice again, I had the dropper loop here. It's a double loop, otherwise known as a surgeon's knot, and that's a BKN 18. 50-pound test mono leader line, because this is only light game today, but it can handle some decent sized fish. So as you notice, we're just gonna loop this through the bottom like so. See what I'm doing here? So this way, with this type of knot, we can take on and off whatever rigs we want. And the reveille sound you hear in the background, that's from a military supply station. Is probably the only military installation inside the Westlock area. So this is what it looks like finished. Right? Okay, I did my simple Palomar. Everybody knows how to do a Palomar. I prefer these for my hooks. Simple, they never break at the knot. This is a Mutsu. It's a BKN style circle hook. You know, it's factory offset. Notice that the tip is not lined up with the shank because it's factory offset, so when the fish bites this, it's a better chance for a hookup. So we're gonna run our cork that I just got here from POP here in Hawaii. So I'm gonna run a cork through this. I'm gonna run a cork through the leader. This is a 3/4 inch size. Okay. Then I'm going to tie a dropper loop right about there. And when you do a dropper loop, you do like, let's see, give it a little bit more to that. There, about. But actually, this one I'm going to make it a little higher, about, yeah, like so. Okay, pinch that. You're going to make an overhand granny, doubled up, going through here once, then one more time, twice. This is called a dropper loop. Another name for it is a surgeon's knot. See, it's gone through twice. Cinch it up, but I want to keep this area large. So when you cinch it up, I keep it fairly large because I want to sometimes drop my bait with this through that. This is, to me, one of the, for my style of fishing, for light short casting, this is great to use. Save my garbage. See, that's a pre-made leader with the cork on it. And the reason why I put the cork on it, because when you thread the loop through the three-way swivel, the cork will be up here. And what happens in this area over here, which has a lot of crabs on the bottom, this will keep the crabs off your bait, so your bait will last a little bit longer. You're still going to get your smaller fish picking at it, but your bait will last longer in areas like this. Okay, I'm going to try that today. Okay, I have my Daiwa 13.3 ballistic. I got me a bloody piece of shrimp. I just pinched the head off. So what I'm going to do is put it like this, put it in the bait bag like so. And remember how I showed you guys before? Weave it back and forth. Use the hook to weave it back and forth. Okay, and see, like that time I actually put the hook to the meat, so it kind of helps center it. And that's ready to toss out. But I'm going to add something special to this. I did a longer leader with the cork on it. Reason being, because over here, the bottom over here is littered with a lot of smaller crabs. The crabs will even chew through the bait bag eventually. Okay, so to lessen the chance of my bait being chewed up and not getting much, I'm going to put a secondary leader system on this. That's why I like the dropper loops to have a bigger loop, is I can add to it when I want, change out the hooks, change out the lead. See, look at that. Now while this is going to sit on the bottom, this will float to the top. Alright, so to do that, this time I'm not going to use a bait bag. I'm just going to go through the hook itself like so. That's it, but it's just loose there. I mean, it may come off. So what I'm going to do is going to use some Atlas Miracle thread. I love this stuff. Catfish fishermen love this. I'm beginning to love this too. Softer baits won't come off. See, like so, and you just twirl it on. You can just boom, break it like that. Boom, look, it's on. It's literally on. Okay, that's it. So let's see what this is going to look like in the water. Okay, I just brought in the ballistic. No bait because look at that. Something attacked it. The pole went off hard, brought it in. Look at that. I could have been, most likely a shark probably did that. It had shrimp in there and it just literally tore it apart. The leader line is fine, but this bait bag has seen its last day. Look at that. Had to be a shark. Because the way it hit, wow. Alright. So I got myself a new bait bag here. And what we're going to do this time is we're going to use some crab. As you notice here, I got a bucket. I've been free netting them here and there. And this one here, I cut, when I get the big ones like this, I cut them in half. Alright. I mean, you can use the whole thing, but I cut them in half. Presentation is the whole thing. It's like when you go to Japan, presentation is important. So you get the guts and the juices coming out of the half section. Now, this part here with the claw, you just kind of crush just a little. There you go. You hear a crack. Now the juices are coming off from that. Okay. So what we're gonna do. Okay, it's seeing it. Alright, as I showed you many times before, twist and turn, 1, and then you can twist this, put 2, come over to the other side of the crab claw, 3, and one more 4, good enough. See what happened? And look at that for presentation. The crab claw's out and it's cracked, so the meat and the juices are coming out. Since I cut that crab in half, all the juices there. This will last maybe about an hour and a half, if undisturbed. But it's going to be really good right now because all the juices are coming out. Okay. So we're going to loft this towards the sandbank. Okay, I already put the IRW out towards the point. This one here is going to go towards the entrance to the river mouth. The other ear, that's where I hit Bigalua GT right there. Came off because he went that way, came around, came that way so fast. Then he came under the pier and he cut back and he cut the line. So that told me he's been hooked before because he knew exactly what to do. Okay, so we're just going to loft this one towards the entrance of that river mouth. I mean, we don't have to get too far. Setting the drag a little bit tighter this time. Okay, you got a Ultegra 10,000 on a ballistic 13.3. It's a good combination. Okay, just gonna try to loft it up there. Okay, good. Right at the entrance to the mouth. Okay. This back. Tighten up the line. Put the bell holder back on. Wait. Okay, put the bell holder back on. Put the bell on the bell holder, I mean. Put your safety cord on. You always keep your rigs tight. You see how the tip has a slight tension to it? That way you can see if there's something nibbling on it or not. Some species like sharks and GTs, they just kind of take off. But this is how I can tell if there's a ray out there, because it will actually sit there and just eat it right there. So that kind of tells you what's going on. Also, if there's crabs around, big crabs, it'll go ding 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 ding, and it tells me I need to bring it in by at least 5-6 feet to get it away from the crab. Okay, See what happens. You know, right on the dock here, I found this heavy metal plug that is grooved, and I was thinking maybe that came from a rod. Sure enough, on my 13.3 Daiwa ballistic, it came from this. I didn't know that these have these heavy butt caps on it. I just want to send this message out to other people that it's good to tighten that once in a while. I didn't know about that. At the end of the day, I always spray down my gear. If you're out in an area where there's no facilities, learn this little trick from Joe Levis in Kauai. Just bring a spray bottle. It gets a lot of that surface salt off before it actually gets into all the nooks and crannies. Not bad.